What's happening, Andy? Here I am joined today by Kevin Hoverman of EveryonePrint. How are you today, Kevin?
I'm great, Andy. How you doing?
I am awesome. I am up here in sunny Rochester, New York. We're actually in our springtime here. It's nice out. Hopefully, we'll get some golf in this week. Where are you today?
I am just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, beautiful Holly Springs, and we are full-blown spring. So a
Awesome.
beautiful day here today.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on. I wanted to take some time and introduce you guys officially as one of our sponsors and learn a little bit more about EveryonePrint. Another European print management company has come to the United States, and I've seen you at several conferences. That's how we wound up working together. So why don't you take some time and fill us in on who is EveryonePrint? What's the backstory on the company, how'd they start, the history, and then maybe how did you get involved with them, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So EveryonePrint is a Danish company headquartered in Copenhagen, been around since the early 2000s, and kind of originally started, EveryonePrint was our product, and we were a mobile print solution that integrated pretty heavily with Equitrack back when Equitrack was just Equitrack. Throughout the years, the product became the name of the company. We added some other solutions, and about 4 years ago, launched our hybrid cloud print solution and became a full kind of proud cloud company. So 4 years in the cloud is kind of forever, right? So we're ancient at this point in the cloud.
You are.
Been doing it a long time. And it's really what we do. So there it is, our print infrastructure in the cloud. That's what we do. So the goal is really to help organizations, particularly those who have a cloud first approach, eliminate those print servers, move their print infrastructure to the cloud, deliver it in a SaaS model. As we do updates, it gets pushed out automatically. And we do it with all of the major manufacturers. We've got an embedded client with all of the major manufacturers. We can direct print to just about any device. Actually, when I saw you at BTA, my colleague Brian and I had a booth set up, and we had a little tiny mobile inkjet HP that we were doing cloud printing on off Disney's guest Wi-Fi. So our product is very easy to use, set up, scale, and highly secure. So ISO 27001 certified, zero trust environments, built on a secure backbone using AWS services. And it's we're having a lot of success again as more and more companies are moving to the cloud. And I think we can probably thank Microsoft and Office 365 for really starting that. We are one of the very few true cloud solutions where no print servers required, very simple and easy to use, move that print infrastructure to the cloud. And, depending on which study you've seen, between 35 and 50% of calls into IT help desks are print related. A lot of that is driver and driver management related. And we can eliminate 95% of those calls by moving it to the cloud and basically taking that infrastructure off their plate. So a lot of ROI. If you think about eliminating print servers, it's a pretty quick, 25 to $5,000 a year, depending on whose metric you're using for license and patch management. And we're device licensed, and we've had a lot of success with some really big companies. We're in one of the big four accounting firms. We work with Mars Incorporated, so I've just about finished my Easter M&Ms at this point. But we're helping their cloud migration across the globe. But we also work with single device real estate companies, who have the challenge of agents bringing their own device to work and making it. You have to make it work. If you've got limited IT, we can help you get set up and get people working really quickly. If you got really heavy IT, but you're tired of dealing with print in those enterprise spaces, we're having a lot of success there. So I think that our product is the simplest that I've found. And I sort of come by that through trial and error. I spent 20 years in the dealer channel. So started as a down the street sales rep in New Hampshire, and then moved to DC, spent 20 years in DC with a global imaging company, started a dealership, ended up selling that and went back to global through that XBS transition, most recently with a KM Rico HP dealer in the Carolinas, kind of helping run their sales team in production, print, and solutions. And we discovered EveryonePrint because we were looking for a true cloud solution. We had some customers who said, you can't put anything. I'm not spinning up a server, nothing on-prem. We don't have the infrastructure, but I also don't need 85 reports. I don't need any of that. I need people to be able to file print and then use a find me or follow me print solution. And when we did our due diligence and look through what the opportunities were, that's how I came across EveryonePrint, and it solved some problems for us. So we have a great case study with a realtor on the North Carolina coast with 600 agents and 6 or 7 offices, and we help them solve their print management, driver management, and when a new agent comes in, how do I get them to print those contracts as quickly as possible wherever they are? And once that worked, it was sort of like, okay, this is something that I think we can move forward with. And had an opportunity, had left and sort of taken a step back for a little bit, and had EveryonePrint reached out and asked for some help building the channel. And it's been exciting since then, as we've kind of been on a recruiting pipeline, going to the BTA events and Pros Elite, and we're going to be at the BTA National Conference in Chicago in what, about 3 weeks? 3 weeks from Monday, I think.
I'll see you there. I'll see you there.
Yeah, it should be a great time to be in Chicago.
It should be. So let's talk a little bit about, there's a lot of companies in this space. There's a lot of print management companies. There are a lot of blended solutions, a lot of still, hardware based, but the trend is everyone's moving to the cloud. You're already there. You don't offer any server solutions, so you may be the only one that doesn't even have a server solution, as far as I know. What are some of the benefits, to these customers? So when you're a copier rep, when you're a office technology salesperson, and you're out there talking to customers who say, we already have an investment, we've already done this. What are some of these questions, benefits? What can they do to talk? What can they say to the customer to kind of spark that interest in a product like this?
Yeah. So part of it depends on who you're speaking to, right? Where I think our target audience is, and where when I was selling the product directly to customers at a dealer, we would be talking to CIOs, CISOs, IT directors, and really lead with the, Andy, if you never had to manage another print driver in your life, could we talk for 20 minutes? And the answer is generally, oh, thank God, please, let's talk about it, right? And then when they go, okay, what do I need to do? What do I have to spin up? And the answer is, you don't have to put anything on-prem. And unlike some of the other folks in our space where, if you got to set up a different queue for each manufacturer, and God knows there's a lot of mixed fleets, right? And particularly now in the supply chain challenge, it might not be mixed manufacturer, but we have dealers who are releasing stuff, putting used equipment out because they can't get it. Well, so then I got to go manage all these other drivers. I've got an 8-year-old MFP and a 2-year-old, and I just got this one because it showed up. Oh, this is painful. To be able to just have a single queue and a single driver. One of the coolest things that, again, was a difference maker for me is we've got a single full-featured print driver. And I say that intentionally. It is not a universal driver, although it works universally, because I think we all know universal drivers universally suck, right? Yeah. So we've got a driver that you can staple and hole punch and duplex across manufacturers, and it's the same user experience. So if you have a mixed fleet, say you're a KM dealer and you can only get a couple machines in and those Xeroxes are staying there for a while, you can manage them the same. The end user experience is the same to print, to release, all of that. And when you replace those devices, you literally just go into the admin panel and change the manufacturer. User doesn't see any difference. IT doesn't have to go through this big complicated process. It's changing the manufacturer from Xerox to KM or whatever it may be, and you're up and running. It's seconds to manage that deployment, as opposed to some of our other competitors where I've now got to create another queue. Okay, I've got to create another queue. I've got a driver that may not let me actually staple, may not actually let me hole punch. Or if I send a staple command and I try to retrieve it at a device that can't staple, the job fails. We'll output it anyway. Yeah, you chose staple and hole punch, but you can't. It's still going to print because people just want to get that thing and go. So those are some of the really key differentiators. And then I jokingly tell people, at the last company I was at, we had 10, 11 offices across a couple of states, and I would drive our IT director nuts because I would go to an office and hit print and it would come out in the wrong office. Our drivers, I think every dealership has this challenge, probably less so now because of the hardware issues, but I'd have 25 drivers and they'd be very well named. It would be whatever was in the demo room that day. I don't know what demo room.
Yeah.
So where is this going? Well, one of the cool things of our solution is once we started using it, it has a location awareness built in. So if I showed up to the Raleigh office, the only devices it showed me were the ones in Raleigh. And then take that a step further, because I'm a sales guy, the only device it showed me was the one in the bullpen. When I went to Atlanta, that Raleigh driver disappeared. All I have is an Atlanta driver. So there's no thinking. It's file print. Oh, I know where to go.
It's smart.
Okay.
It's smart.
It's smart. Yep.
Very cool.
Yep.
Let's shift gears and talk a little bit about security. What you mentioned some of your certifications. What exactly does that mean to you guys? Where does that let you play because you have some of these certifications? I know, obviously being a European company and they have, I would say that in a lot of ways they're maybe a bit ahead of us as far as some of their requirements for software, especially, right? And so I'm assuming since you guys are starting from, that's the home base, right? 15,000 plus installations, and a good chunk of those are in Europe. So what are those security certifications that you have? And again, what does that mean to the people selling the product?
Yeah, so we've chosen to do an ISO 27001 certification. And that is, so the reason we chose that is it's one of the most difficult to get and maintain, but it also meets or exceeds GDPR. It meets or exceeds SOC 2. It meets or exceeds, the German requirements, which are a little bit different even than GDPR. Right. So we chose to do that because it was kind of the highest level that met or exceeded all of those. So, as we've had conversations with fintech companies, we're in large European banks, IP, protecting Mars's IP information. When we can just say ISO 27001, yeah, we can work in a zero trust. And I think one of the biggest advantages we have is, instead of saying we work with these authentication partners and you better choose Azure, if you're not in Azure, you can't use us, or whatever it may be. We've partnered with Azure, with Microsoft Azure, with Google, with Okta, with Ping, with a lot of those big authentication providers, because we're flexible enough to work with what you have. But because we're in the cloud and there's no information that goes there outside of basically the print commands, there's no PHI, PI, or any of that that's going to our cloud system. So we, again, meet or exceed all of the security requirements in the commercial space. Mm-hmm. Obviously here in the US, the federal government has some additional things, FedRAMP and things like that. So those are some things that, we're looking at pursuing with some of our partners and potential OEM partners. So, kind of the good news is that security is where we start. So when people say, do you do this? Do you do this? Do you punch in any holes? What issues do I have? The answer is none at all. So we are one of, if not the most secure cloud print management providers in the planet right now.
Very cool. Very cool. So dealers who want to find you, who want to, work with you, it's not, you said brand agnostic. So at the moment you guys, you're working with any brand out there, and you'll sign up any dealer. So you were at Pros, the Pros Elite conference, you were at the BTA conference, and you will be at the national convention coming up at the beginning of June. So we'll see you there. Mm-hmm. If anyone is at that show, come by, stop by. Kevin, I'm sure will be more than happy to talk to you about their program. And there is more information on their website. I will include links to that as well. You can get in touch with Kevin through me. I will be happy to make an introduction. But any last messages before we wind down and say goodbye?
Yeah, if you're at BTA, come see us because we're going to be giving away a pair of MLB tickets to your local park.
Very
So
cool.
that's a reason to come see us.
That is a good reason. I'll have to find I guess my local park would be Yankee Stadium, right? So it's
Well, I can't send you to Yankees game. I was born in New England, so anyone but the Yankees, okay?
well, I don't think I'll be eligible to win that one. We'll let a dealer
No.
win that. So, but
There you go.
Kevin, thanks so much for taking some time and giving us some more background on this. I'm excited to work with you guys. It's a really interesting product, and we'll be here for you to help you get that message out. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Kevin. Bye-bye.